What's going on, everybody? My name is Seth and you're watching 252 Squad, and in today's video we're going to be back with the 2000 Mustang, the abandoned New Edge project. And today's video we're going to be installing coilovers. We got some Rev9s. I'm going to go over those in a few seconds, but yeah, sit tight, relax, and watch out to put some coilovers on a New Edge.
1, 2, 3.
All right, so we got the car in the bay getting ready to start on the coilovers, but let me show you what we got. So actually, we come over here. Maybe my crappy mic isn't terrible. We got some Rev9s. I actually got these simply because I ran these on my white CG, my blue 9th gen, and never really had any problems with them. And they're cheap, and they're a pretty good mid-range option on coilovers. I know the SR V2s were the other ones that I was looking at, but I went with these because it's a little bit different. So I'm gonna go ahead and unpackage them, show them a little bit better, and then we're getting to installing. All right, so I got a few of them unpackaged, and I'm just going to show you what we've got. So these are the fronts. These are adjustable dampening, nice. Caster camber adjustable, as you can see there. Ride height, preload, all that stuff. These actually replace the spring that's going to be in there. We're going to show you that. And then just do one hole conversion. So now you don't have to have a separate shock and spring in the front. These are the rears. The rears are very similar, except they don't have the coil over top of the spring. There's still a coil over, I guess. I don't really know how to explain straight axle coilovers, but it is adjustable here as well and still adjustable. Then this is actually what replaces the spring that connects to the control arm on the New Edge. And so I don't know how this works either, but we're going to figure it out along the way. And I'm going to try to explain it as I go. All right, so we got the car up and the wheels off. Tyler's working on the other side here. Beautiful Brimbos. And so we're going to take this front shock off and take the spring out here, which is going to be interesting, but I think my method of approach is going to be pulling this bracket off here, undoing the lower part, and then maybe trying to actually press everything downwards to pull the spring outwards, because I got to get rid of that. And then I'm going to undo it from the top side. Alright, so it's actually really early in the morning. We've been working on the car. You saw pretty much most of the progress last night, but I did get the left side finished up, just bolting up the strut here. Got it lower, just a little bit lower than what it came out of the box. We're gonna see how this fits. Tyler was working on the other side. I just gotta go finish that up right fast, but got everything installed there, sway bar in. This is in, like you see, no spring anymore because of the coilover setup, and everything else is bolted back on. God, these Brimbos look great, but let's go finish up the other side right fast. So as far as the rear coilovers go, Sean's actually doing the control arms right now, so there's a little overlap with that. So if you wanted to see a little bit on how that is done, I'm just gonna have a time lapse here while he's also doing the control arms at the exact same time. So we're gonna go ahead and get the rears put in and the control arms at the exact same time. So let's go to the time lapse. So on the bottom side here, Sean actually got pretty much everything buttoned up for the coilovers down here, except for the actual strut part itself, which comes up through the trunk lining of the car. And I completely forgot that this is a factory Mach 1000 car, which means you got to remove speakers to get to them. So yeah, that was good on my part. Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
So Sean actually got everything installed for the rear coilovers. As you can see, the strut here and the spring perch here. I just got done setting the ride height about where I think I'm gonna need it at. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the wheels and everything put back on the car, and we're gonna see how she looks all lowered down front and rear. All right, so the rear coilovers, getting them set, you actually have to set the rear shocks. I didn't see a lot of videos about this, so I'm gonna show you how I do it. So what I'm gonna do is, you can see the bolt down here is not in. The spring is in the perch and everything. I got a jack underneath the rear axle. I'm gonna jack it up and put a little preload on this spring here. And once I put the preload on the spring, about 5 to 10 millimeters, then I'm going to twist the collar here and actually align that bolt hole up with that down there. And that way you have a full travel of your shock and have it set to ride height. So as you can see, I got preload on the spring. You can see it no longer twists or moves like that. And so I've just got to rotate the collar here. And so if I rotate it, essentially if I get it in the perch, I can rotate it and spin the collar up. It's a little harder to see. As you can see now, I can rotate it up or down using this, and I can rotate it to line up with this hole here. And so that's what I'm gonna do. And once I get it rotated, I'm just gonna put the bolt back through. All right, so we got the bolt in and everything done on the shock. I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten this down. That way that fits. But as you can see, there's now no longer any movement in the spring perch here. No longer moves. So we got a good preload. The axle's no longer sagging. And so that should give us shock travel. And so you don't bounce around a whole lot when you get on the car. So that's how you set the independent coilover setup on the rear of these Mustangs. Alrighty guys, so at this point you've seen how we installed the coilovers, how we adjusted the coilovers, set ride height and everything like that. Let me show you how it's looking now. So as you can see here, this is what it's looking like. Don't mind the wrap that's already going on. But that's about the fitment we got in the front, on the front tires, and then in the rear here you can see we're doing body work. But that's how our rear fitment's looking pretty meaty there. It's looking pretty good. I'm not gonna try to show you too much because you can see we're doing body work and everything. So that's coming up soon. But yeah, I mean, installing the coilovers wasn't actually too bad to do. It's definitely nice to do, taking off the load on that front spring to the actual like lower control arm, taking that and putting it on the knuckle. I can tell you driving wise, it makes a huge difference. You don't have as much body roll by any means, and it's a lot stiffer chassis wise, but that does come with some disadvantages. The car ride's really, really rough. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not exactly happy with the ride quality of these coilovers on this car. I've had them on, like I said, 2 other cars, and they rode pretty good. These in the softest settings still ride a little rough for my personal tasting. We do have another car coming to the channel that's going on some different coilovers. So in a future video, you'll actually see the same kind of chassis, but with different coilovers, and I'm gonna do a comparison there. But these are all right for the money, about as cheap as you can get, that aren't probably gonna fall apart going down the road on you, you know, knock on shoulder. And they work, they lower the car, they do what you need it to do, but they don't do anything else. They don't ride the greatest. They just work and they lower the car. So overall, guys, that's going to be it for today's video, talking about the new Edge, installing some coilovers, showing you how to install some coilovers, and then set the rear dependent setup on the coilovers. But yeah, guys, I thank you so much for clicking on the video and watching all the way through. If you made it this far, don't mind liking the video and subscribing to the channel so you can see more crazy builds on Mustangs, Golfs, and Hondas. All kinds of stuff coming to the channel. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out, and I'll see you next time.